Okay, so you need a piece of paper, one of your wooden blocks and a pencil. And you're going to make a drawing of the thing that you love most or is most important to you about the sea to fit inside the shape of the block. And that's so it'll fit onto your ink pad. So just draw around your wooden block, and then you want to fit your design into there. So a very simple design with a clear outline. So here's one I've done earlier, which is a sperm whale. Very simple. Okay, so this is the step of making the actual stamp, and you need your sheet of thin foam and the wooden block and a pencil. So you need to check the foam, the front of the foam, which is the sort of soft velvety side. Make sure there's no wee holes or bubbles, because they will actually print. And then turn it over, and on the papery side you're going to transfer your design. So again, draw around your wooden block on the back and then copy your design. And it shouldn't be too difficult because you're fitting it into this shape. But if you feel don't feel too confident, you could always trace it using some tracing paper or baking parchment, or even cut out your original design and draw around it. And there we are. You see, it's not exact, but it doesn't really matter. There we are, and then I'm going to cut it out. So if there's somebody around who's better at cutting it out than you, give it to them to do. Okay, so now we put the block and the foam together. So just check that your design fits properly. Well, mine is just right up to the edge, so I have to be quite careful when I'm putting it on there. Now what you need to do is just get your finger or thumbnail under a wee edge, because you need to pull the paper backing off. There we are. And make sure you haven't got anything hanging over the edges, and just gently stick it down. Now if you want any detail, and you can have a fair bit of detail if you want, use a biro to make some lines, and the lines will print white, so they won't, in effect, they won't print. So I'm just going to put a couple of lines here up to the tail fluke and around the fin, and most important of all, the eye. So there we are. Okay, so now we come to the exciting bit of printing. So you need your ink pads, some paper and your block, and I've got another one from earlier. So what you need to do is ink up your block, and it will take might take a wee while. So you want to press the block quite firmly onto the pad, and initially there won't be much ink, but just keep doing it, pressing it in. Now a tip that I heard was actually you should store the ink pads upside down so that the ink moves to the surface. So maybe remember that for next time. It's starting to ink up a bit more. Just keep going with it. And then press down and use your fingers across the pad and rock it a wee bit. And there we are. There's the first print. And you can make lots of prints. You could make a border for your message in a bottle next week. So you could have lots of whales going across the page. You could use some other designs. You can make some more designs as well. I've done this starfish. And this I inked up earlier, so it's a bit more, it's a bit better inked than. And these little white dots have been made with a biro. That comes out quite well. So the ink may take a wee while to dry, and it could stain clothes, so be careful with it. I'd stick to using one colour per stamp unless you can clean the stamp. And the best way to do that is just to keep stamping on a scrap of paper until nothing shows up. Now you can make really nice cards with these, or wrapping paper. So I reckon you should make more. You can make another one on the other side of the block, or get somebody to cut some more blocks for you. Let's put some whales down the bottom. These are still coming out a bit pale, so probably just need to keep going with the stamping. There we are.